police charging 24-year-old Lakeisha Holloway with murder and child abuse. Joining us now is Atif Qureshi. He's a doctor who saw the accident and rushed to help the injured. Dr. Qureshi, thank you so much for being with us. Tell us what you and your wife saw Sunday night as you were driving down the Vegas Strip.
Hi. Well, I was driving up the Vegas Strip towards the north side, and we were in the right lane, and my wife, who was in the non-driver's seat, she saw a very fast-moving car driving up the sidewalk. And first she thought it was an emergency vehicle, but then she saw that the car just plowed into a group of people on the sidewalk, and she described it as if a bowling ball hit some bowling pins, and the people were literally flew in the air and fell to the ground, and the car kept going. It slowed down a little bit because we think it hit something, but it just kept going on the sidewalk on the opposite side of the driveway that we were at. So I immediately turned into the driveway that led into the Paris Casino, and opened the door and rushed out to help. I saw about 6 to 7 people. Yes.
Yeah. Well, authorities, before I get to what you did, because you ran to their aid, but authorities quickly figured out that this was intentional. Was it your wife who watched this? Was it her impression that this was an intentional act?
Yeah, I think, because why would anyone else, walk or drive on the sidewalk with such precision? That was the thing, that she was driving, she plowed into the people, she didn't stop, she just kept going. So, that's what made it look like very intentional.
Okay.
Whether it was under the influence or not, we don't know. Yeah.
Okay, so your wife tells you that she sees people flying in the air. You are a doctor. You pull over and you rush to help and do triage. Tell us what you saw.
Well, I saw about 6 to 7 people who were lying on the sidewalk, and then more injured were sitting on the sides, and people were screaming for help. There was another person who identified herself as a doctor, one as an EMT, one as a nurse. So it was as if a team came out of nowhere, and we started triaging people, which is like to see who's injured most and needed most help. And, we went from person to person, making sure that they did not need CPR. At that time, everybody was breathing and they had a pulse. There were a few unconscious people, and it's sad to know that later on that one of them passed away. But at that time, nobody needed emergent CPR, so we waited for the EMS to arrive. And as soon as they arrived, we told them which was the sickest person and so on and so forth, and, help them identify the people who were hurt more.
Dr. Qureshi, thank goodness you were there. I mean, just because you happened to be driving by and you were a doctor and you did the right thing, you helped people, you may have saved people, but how long did it take for the EMTs to arrive?
I beg your pardon?
It took, I was reading in some notes, but I find this hard to believe, that it took a long time for the EMTs to arrive, longer than it should have. What was your impression?
It was about 15 minutes, I think, from the time the accident happened. So
that's a long
I think
time.
it was just the traffic on the... Yeah, but I don't know, how things work out in Vegas. It's a busy city, and there was the boulevard was packed with cars. It was a busy time of the evening too. So yeah, it took about 15 minutes, I would say, more or less at least.
Well, Dr. Qureshi, the injured, thank you for pulling over and doing the right thing, and we thank you for being on New Day.
Thank you so much. My prayers are with the victims and the injured. So I'm sorry to hear that one life was lost, and hopefully it was a sad time before Christmas, but hopefully everybody will be safe from now on.
Yes, we share your hopes. Thank you again for being here. Chris.
Good thing people like him jumped into action, that's for sure. We'll take a little break here. When we come back, mission accomplished for SpaceX. Its Falcon 9 rocket makes history, completing a flight landing vertically. You can watch it all unfold right after this.